Protectors of the Grid, Chapter 56. Stop! We've got to just stop! Tara stood in the doorway of the condo, hands over her ears, then her eyes, then fisted in the air. They had been increasingly hyper during the days since the ceremony, as the energies built and as they all scrambled to ensure that the dress rehearsal for the ferry launch went off without a glitch. The faster they went, the more their anxieties built. The more their anxieties built, the more irritable they became with each other. This is not the energy we want to take into the launch, Tara insisted. Ben, if I hear you snap at Patty or Charlie one more time, I'm going to scream. Will, you have totally withdrawn. You're hiding in your corner whenever you're in the house, which is rarely over the last 2 days. We need you. Participate. Charlie, I can feel your resentment when Ben asks you the 1,000th time about something you have already handled. Is there anything we can do to actually help? You look exhausted, and you need to be on your best game tomorrow. Ben stood with his fists clenching and unclenching at his sides, belligerent. Yeah, well, you're not doing so hot yourself, Tara. We're all nervous, especially since no one seems to have any idea where Langley is. But your pacing up and down and around and up and down again isn't helping any of us. Tara collapsed into one of the overstuffed armchairs, her hands hiding her face, and began to sob quietly. Oh, Tara. Ben crossed the room to sit on one arm of the chair and reached down in an effort to put his arm around Tara. Without dropping her hands from her face, Tara shrugged him away, continuing to sob softly, so instead, Ben patted her shoulder awkwardly, his eyes sad and helpless. Charlie crossed over to sit on the floor beside Tara, one hand gentle on her knee. Will watched for a moment without saying anything, then grabbed a chair from the dining table, plunked it down beside Charlie in front of Tara, then straddled it. He still didn't say anything, but Tara felt his presence, as well as the concern of the other two. After sniffling a few times, she wiped her eyes and dropped her hands in her lap. She searched the eyes of the three gathered around her and sighed. Sorry, she mumbled. Will reached out to take one of her hands and held it, his thumb gently rubbing across her knuckles. I'm sorry too, Tara. You seemed so strong and on top of things that I didn't realize this was getting to you. Tara whimpered, touched that he understood. And Will paused to kiss the back of the hand he was holding. Being strong and on top of things doesn't preclude you from having feelings. Ben looked at Will thoughtfully, as though he were just realizing the truth of Will's statement. Then he reached out to touch Charlie lightly on the head. Charlie, he ventured. When she looked up at him, he noticed the dark circles under her eyes and the lines that were etching themselves around her mouth and between her brows. I'm sorry if I'm riding you too hard, it's just that so much is depending on this, and why haven't you said something? I know the stress you're under, Ben, Charlie responded. Sometimes it's just easier to pigeonhole things away so I can keep going, deal with them later. I figured if I say anything, we'll just have a row, which would slow us down that much more, add more stress. I'm trying to be patient, but I am just about worn out. This being human can be a pain in the butt, Tara grumbled, patting the hands that touched her, one after the other. But thank you for stopping. This feels better, talking about how we are feeling instead of letting our feelings separate us from each other. She paused and took a long, shaky breath. I need you guys, she admitted. I really do. They all looked at each other and realized how much better it felt to be reconnected, even without any other change in their circumstances. We all need each other, Will affirmed, especially right now. And we all have each other, Charlie affirmed. In spite of our humanness, Ben suggested. Charlie nodded her head in agreement. They all jumped when the unique signal of an incoming Skype call sounded and looked toward the table where Tara's computer sat. She too looked startled.